Elise Preston has that.
Not only are protesters and some Angelenos upset that the National Guardsmen have moved in, but we're also hearing that from politicians. Governor Gavin Newsom tweeting earlier today that he would sue President Trump over these actions. He believes that were done to manufacture chaos.
Trump says there is a legal provision that allows him to mobilize federal service members when there's a rebellion. Nicole Killian reports.
The last time the president used this authority bypassing a governor's request to deploy the National Guard. You have to look all the way back to the Civil Rights Movement, the 1965, that Bloody Sunday march in Selma, Alabama, and that was done at the order of then President Lyndon Baines Johnson to protect civil rights.
Governor Lamont says the president escalated the situation in L.A. by sending in the Guard. He was asked what he would do if the president tried the same thing in Connecticut.
I think calling in the National Guard in L.A. made the situation an awful lot worse. Look, I believe in the governors take the leadership with our Guard, and I hope they would work with us on this and not have the heavy hand of the federal government coming in and telling localities what to do.
Lamont says he's worried about ICE arresting students, citing last week's detention of a Meriden high schooler days before graduation. Important trade talks are ongoing in London between the U.S. and China. The trade war between the two has played havoc with the markets. Stacey Lynn reports.
Trump administration leaders are meeting with their Chinese counterparts as they work to iron out the details of a high-stakes trade deal. The purpose of the meeting, according to White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett,
is to make sure that they're serious, but to literally get handshakes from Scott and Howard and Jameson, our three lead trade negotiators, and get this thing behind us.
The meeting follows a call between President Trump and Chinese President Xi last week. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
Back here, the state Senate Republican leaders reacting to the outcome of the 2025 legislative session, which wrapped last week. Steve Harding says the reduction in the public benefits charge is a good move toward lowering electric bills for customers, but feel it still falls short.
It should not be on your bill. It should be reduced. The programs within it should be taken out. And your electric bill should be reduced along with this public benefit charge. So it was a critical first step to doing that. Democrats reluctantly came to the table and worked with us on it. Frankly, we could have done more if it was only Republicans working on it, but we tried to work it on a bipartisan basis.
Says the move is expected to save customers around $200 per year on average. WTIC News Time is 2:04. From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network. Not aware of any accidents or any major hassles on the roads this Monday. There is road work in Manchester 384 East, just prior to exit 3. That's right in center lane. 691 down in Meriden, westbound between 1C and 2A. Got the right lane closed there. In Vernon on 84, eastbound side between exits 67 and 71. Got repair crews in the right shoulder there till about 3. And all right. North between exits 23 and 27. That's about 6 miles of roving work in the left lane. Bob Cox with the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
During the afternoon, it remains mostly cloudy. You could run into a shower, but it's dry most of the time. Temperatures in the low 70s with an east wind at about 10 miles an hour or so. Tonight, skies remain cloudy, still that chance for a shower or a spot or two of drizzle. We'll see some areas of fog developing, the low around 60. It gets wetter Tuesday morning. We'll have more widespread showers and areas of rain moving through the state. A chance for a heavier downpour or two, even a thunderstorm is possible. That scatters out Tuesday afternoon, but still the chance for a shower or storm. Highs in the low to mid 70s. We'll have some partial clearing by Tuesday evening or Tuesday night, but still that chance for lingering shower or thunderstorm into part of Tuesday night, lows in the upper 50s and low 60s. Wednesday, the weather gets better, mostly sunny and warm, highs in the low 80s, and it looks dry and warm on Thursday.
Just FYI, if you experience, we experience any type of like 10-second drop off or something like that, they're rewiring something, so he said it shouldn't be more than a 10-second.
And the S&P is up 16. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's your good boy? Oh, who's your?
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
1 minute. You going to 27.
You got it.
Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21. With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you reach your wealth full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE, SIPC.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio.
Reese on the Radio. Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Everybody very happy, 'cause the sun is shining all the time. It's like another perfect day. I love LA.
We love it.
I love LA. We love it. We love it.
We've seen hundreds of National Guardsmen, and we're told new this morning that these ice raids could last up to 30 days. Take a look. This was at 4 o'clock this morning as those troops began rolling in. The president calling on 2,000 National Guardsmen to downtown Los Angeles. But Democratic Representative Nanette Berrigan saying she has been told to prepare for a large presence of ICE in Southern California. She fears their presence is only going to escalate the situation, saying, "We haven't asked for help. We don't need the help. This is Trump escalating it, causing tensions to rise."
Oh, really? They said they don't need the help. They don't want the help. It's just local rabble-rousers setting things on fire, throwing rocks at ICE agents. You know, your usual run-of-the-mill Summer of Love riot that brought to you by the likes of George Floyd. That's all it is. It's nothing, folks. It's nothing. Nothing to see here. That's what they were telling us all weekend. That's what they told us all weekend. Donald Trump is the one who escalated all of this, not the rioters, not the people setting cars on fire, not the people throwing stones and rocks and parts of buildings at people. No. Absolutely not. Listen to Cory Booker. And again, listen, you can't believe a word any of these people say when this stuff is brought to their attention. Let me tell you the telltale sign, sort of if you play poker, they say the tell. This is how you know that it's worse than they tell you. Cory Booker, listen to what he says. He begins by saying, the reality is, which means what you're seeing is not reality.
The reality is we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles. And
yeah, it's all peaceful. Forget about the images playing on your television screens and on the internet and on X and Facebook. The reality is, and please, with all due respect, you know that if a name is attached to a Democrat, you know that the reality is it ain't what they telling you. But what I loved about this is that Cory Booker, a guy from one of the worst towns in New Jersey, right? Well, he represents one of the worst towns in New Jersey, Trenton. This guy's telling you that, oh, no, it's nothing, and the police can handle it.
The reality is we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles. And again, any violence against police officers should not be accepted. Local authorities can handle that.
Local authorities can handle that. Let's ask local authorities.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing. They'll take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it.
That is Los Angeles Police Chief Jim McDonald. That's Cory Booker telling you that the police can handle it. And our very own dum-dum, denunt extraordinaire, Chris Murphy joined the fray as well, saying that the local police can handle all of this.
What's your take on where this is headed?
Well, I think it's first important to point out that Donald Trump is just not telling the truth. There's been property damage, but these are pretty isolated protests. There's just no doubt that the local law enforcement can handle them.
Yeah, the law enforcement can handle it. Let's go again to LAPD Police Chief Jim McDonald.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity.
Yeah, they're overwhelmed, Chris Murphy. And you know what? I can go with Cory Booker in Washington and from Newark, not knowing what the LAPD can handle. I can even stomach denunt Chris Murphy telling Mika Brzezinski in the studio that the police can handle it, knowing nothing about what the police can handle. But what I can never stand is when the governor of California echoes the same nonsense as the other two bozos. Listen to Governor Gavin Newsom in his own backyard.
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out.
No, that wasn't it. That was it.
We're here to support local law enforcement. There's a mutual aid process. Local law enforcement had no needs.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this.
Gavin Newsom said that the local police had no needs. Jim McDonald, chief of police, we're overwhelmed. Even Gavin Newsom doesn't know what's going on in their own community. But I got to tell you, folks, truth be told, I don't really care about California. I don't care about California. California's got to burn. It's got to fall into that abyss known as the Pacific Ocean, or as they say in the hood, Specific Ocean. Sorry. It's just got to go. It's got to land right in it. It just has to. California is a failed state. What we're witnessing is the end of a civilization. And that is California. And it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. California is more than a sanctuary state. It's become a third world state. Here's something that you don't know. Remember they had a reparations task force in California? That reparation task force was representing 2.5 million black people. Do you know what the population of illegals in California is? 2.6 million. Yeah. This is a state that harbors illegals. They are the most important constituency to this state. That's why there was no reparations given to African Americans, aside from the fact that California was not a slave state. But the most important people there are illegals. The only things that can happen to California is more will leave, and it will definitely become a failed state. Remember, folks, there were no riots for the homeless. No riots for water shortages or water rationing. No riots for gas prices. No riots for the exodus of businesses. Even Hollywood is leaving. No riots for the tax hikes that followed when businesses left. No riots for the fires and the failed response to them as people lost their homes. There were no riots for anything, only for the illegals. California's most treasured commodity are illegal immigrants. For them, they riot. If I were the president of these United States, if I were Donald Trump, I would build a wall. And I would build the wall against Arizona and Nevada and give California to Mexico. And then we could make Canada the 50th state, and it wouldn't affect the stars on the flag. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Give up California. Now, I know people say, well, it's the 5th largest economy. Not for long. Give it to Mexico and see what they do with it. Just give it to them. See what happens. What's the use? Now, people think that Donald Trump is going to just take over the state. It's going to be an insurrection act, and he's just going to take it over. Why not? Why not? Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom are absolutely ineffective. They cannot take care of that state. They cannot protect law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. The exodus since 2020 has been 350,000 people who have left the state. It is, the U-Hauls in California are scarce because no U-Hauls are coming into the state. That tells you what it's like living there. Everyone wants to go, but in order to get a truck to leave, U-Haul operations has to leave the state and grab trucks and bring them back into the state so that people can use them to leave. U-Haul is assisting in relieving California of its taxpayers. McDonald's. What brand isn't closing down in California? CVS, Walgreens, they're all leaving. It doesn't pay to exist. Not in that state. You got to give it up. And I got to say this. This is the part that I find amazing. What started all of this? Listen to this real quick. Mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass. She said something that I heard from someone else not too long ago. Asking the question, why are ICE agents showing up at Home Depot? Why are they showing up at businesses? And there is a theme that's going along with this. Listen to Karen Bass, who says, when all of this started Friday.
And I just have to say that all of you were there Friday. Everybody knows what happened Friday. A workplace, several workplaces were targeted and raids took place. Now, in the beginning, the administration said they were just looking for dangerous felons, violent people. It's hard to say that that's what they found at a workplace or in a Home Depot parking lot. When this happens...
What are you talking about? You're telling me that illegals at a Home Depot, that those illegals there have committed no crimes. You know this why? Because they showed up? Because they're standing outside of a Home Depot and they go, look at them, they're just at the Home Depot. Those are innocent people. Ladies and gentlemen, if you live in California, hell, if you live here in Connecticut and you're dodging the police and you don't want them to travel to your known haunts, take it down to the Home Depot, ladies and gentlemen. Just innocent people hang out there outside looking for manual labor. They'll never suspect it. Yeah, there's no violent felons outside of the Home Depot. Never. Let me tell you, this is going to make you laugh. And this actually happened. I wish I was telling you a tale out of school. This is a true story. You guys know I used to work for U-Haul during my tenure off and on radio. I'm working at a Home Depot. At a U-Haul center. I work in a corporate marketing company office right above one of the U-Haul centers. And when you say U-Haul center, that's like an actual building owned only by U-Haul. And I come downstairs, and every day I walk in the job, there's always a bunch of guys, day laborers outside the U-Haul asking, if you pull up in a car, do you need help moving? Do you need help moving? And because it's dirt cheap and moving is pretty expensive, a lot of the customers will take some of these day laborers on. And they'll pay them a flat fee or a very small fee to get them to move their stuff. The risk is these guys don't have any insurance. If something gets broken, it's on you. But you saved yourself $1 or $2. So luck of the draw, you're rolling the dice. Well, one day I'm coming downstairs, and some of these guys I got pretty familiar with. I saw them every day for a year. There's one black guy by the name of Rob. I can tell his story because he doesn't even do it anymore. And I became very familiar with it. In fact, he helped me move a couch. That's how well I know him. Yes, I used him. Anyway, Rob tells me, I walk outside and I see 2 guys fighting. Then 3 guys are fighting. Then 4 guys are fighting 1 guy. And I said, Rob, what the hell's going on here? And he goes, yeah, they're beating up that guy because he's screwing with their money. I'm like, what, did he steal from them? They said, no. Here's the story. The 5 of them were on a job. Customer came out and hired all 5 of them to help him move. It was a big move. Got a 26-foot truck, took 2 trips. At the end of the job, one of them showed up at the customer's house at 3 o'clock in the morning and tried to rob them. Tried to break into the home and rob them. And the other guys found out about it. And they went off. They went off on him, and they beat him down. The police came. It was a whole thing. But they said that he was messing with their money. Now, that means that if it gets out that one of these day laborers will more than likely rob you, more than likely do a home invasion, these guys are out of a job. So I say to Karen Bass, what makes you think that because they're outside of a Home Depot or they're outside of a U-Haul, they're just innocent bystanders, just innocent illegals, just trying to get a buck? Many of them aren't making any money in what? The drug trade, the trafficking trade, the human trafficking, the sex trade. Some of them have to go out and be day laborers. Remember, they're illegals. They do anything to get by. Some things quite nefarious. By the way, for those of you who ever go to a U-Haul, just take what I said in consideration, okay? Take that as a warning. I'm not really, really good with strangers in my house anyway. That's why Roseanne and I never take company, and no one's come by for dinner. Now, we have more news and more views to get into. We got a whole bunch of stuff to get into. We got headlines coming up next. We're taking your phone calls, 860-522-WTIC. I've got one question to ask. Maxine Waters dragged her old bones out there to protest, and she was asking about a guy named, let me get his name here, David Huerta. He is the president of SEIU, the Service Employees International Union. If you are a part of a union, I might need you to call up in the next half hour. I'll explain the story when we get back. The number is 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. It's Reese on the Radio, now at 2. We got all of that, all the other headlines, and, oh, Roland, I have to tell you this before we go to break. Angel Reese scored 4 points. 4 points? She shot 2 for 7. 2 for 7, and you guys think that I'm going to get my butt handed to me and playing one of these NBA players? Damn. Ye of little faith. We'll get into that as well. All right, so stick around. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, where we've succeeded thousands of men for low testosterone and help them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Marty.
I was a really grumpy guy, sleeping like garbage, and getting older, the energy level was just in the toilet, and that was what led to me going in. I've been treated at Northeast Men's Health for low testosterone, coming on about 2 years now. Within a few weeks, I started noticing I was sleeping a little bit better. I definitely noticed a higher energy level, but the old man crankiness just went away. I'm able to stay really well organized. Nothing slips through the cracks. Having the T treatment is leading me to keep on top of my game. What I would say to any other guy that is in the same situation where they feel like they're dragging, just call Northeast Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Marty. It's true. Low T therapy can dramatically change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call today. 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Attention Southern New England HVAC and mechanical contractors. Eagle Rivet is your trusted roofing partner for professional roof penetrations and flashing. We ensure your customers' roofs remain watertight during installations, protecting their warranties. We also offer complimentary roof inspections to identify potential issues before any HVAC work begins. Call Eagle Rivet today at 860-953-1231 or visit us online at eaglerivet.com. That's EAGLERIVET.com. Eagle Rivet is proud to support Rebuilding Together Hartford.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text TEAR to 369369. That's TEAR to 369369. TEAR to 369369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
And now, a WTIC news update.
2:30, Hartford temperature 69 degrees under cloudy skies. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We will see mainly cloudy skies for the balance of the afternoon. Maybe a shower or two. We'll make a run at the low 70s. All the forecast details coming up. A child is dead and his mother in the hospital after they were initially reported missing from the town of Washington, Connecticut on Sunday. Sadie Fleming and her 1-month-old son Hudson were reportedly left between midnight and 7 a.m. Sunday. They were found later in the day in a wooded road in town. She, again, remains hospitalized with serious injuries. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he plans to file a lawsuit against President Trump in response to the administration's deployment of the National Guard to confront immigration protesters who took to the streets in L.A. Newsom says that commandeering a state's National Guard without consulting the governor of that state is illegal and immoral. The president says there is a provision that allows him to do so when things get out of order, as they have in L.A. Union members back here in Connecticut have been rallying. They've been at the state capitol today in support of those in California. Travel ban enacted by the president's now in effect. It covers about a dozen, mostly Middle Eastern and African nations. Also imposes heightened restrictions on people from such nations as Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, and Togo. Hartford police had a busy weekend. They were rounding up suspects in an illegal dirt bike detail that took place in Colts Park. They seized over a half dozen dirt bikes and ATVs and made arrests. WTIC News Times coming up on 2:32 from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network. The roadwork remains in effect in Windsor Locks on 91 South between 40 and 33. That's about 9 miles worth of roving work for you out there. 84 East in Vernon from 67 to 71. That's another rather long project in the shoulder. And we also have the work in Manchester on 384 East, just prior to exit 3, right lane and center lanes blocked there. Bob Cox has the forecast.
There'll be a couple of scattered showers in the area this afternoon, but much of the time is just kind of on the cloudy side. Highs holding in the low 70s, below the average high of 78 for this time of year. Tonight it's cloudy sky. The chance for a shower continues. There'll be some areas of drizzle and fog around the low near 60. Wet weather to start off the day Tuesday. More widespread showers and areas of rain moving through the state. There'll be a few embedded heavier downpours and the chance for a thunderstorm. Still the chance for a scattered shower or storm in the afternoon tomorrow too. Highs in the low to mid 70s. I will see some clearing by Tuesday night. There could still be a lingering shower or storm for a while. And then Wednesday's mostly sunny and warm with highs in the low 80s and probably even warmer than that Thursday, getting into the 80s with a mix of sun and clouds. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This Travelers Championship Charity Highlight is brought to you by Cristino Kitchens.
Discover the heart behind the Travelers Championship, a PGA Tour event with a mission to make a difference. For over 3 decades, the Travelers Championship has been a beacon of hope, supporting hundreds of nonprofit organizations like No Pet Left Unfed, an all-volunteer animal welfare organization dedicated to helping families in Hartford County keep and care for their pets with food distribution, medical sponsorship, and community resources. No Pet Left Unfed helps 25 Connecticut towns each year by providing referrals, case management, advocacy, and other services. Because in order to help a pet, you have to help their human too. With no animal left unfed, the lives of vulnerable cats and dogs throughout Connecticut will be saved thanks in part to the Travelers Championship. Be sure to keep listening to WTIC News Talk 1080 for more Travelers Championship charity highlights.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Add some star-spangled style to your summer with Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale going on now. Shop Hot Buys for every room in your home, now just $6.99. Plus, you can save up to $1,000 store-wide. And don't miss upgrading your patio. Save up to 20% on select outdoor furniture. Or feel the freedom to buy now and pay over time with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Actual price depends on product and plan purchase. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, clinical study information, and restrictions, visit forhers.com.
Everyone's talking about the breakthrough of weight loss medications, but too few can access or afford them. Hers is changing that by offering access to Wegovy GLP-1 treatment through their platform. 50% off retail price. Wegovy is FDA approved for weight loss and can help you lose up to 20% of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. All dosages of Wegovy are offered at the same price and are eligible for FSA and HSA reimbursement. At forhers.com/radio, treatments are prescribed 100% online.
A medical provider on their platform will determine if a weight loss plan is right for you, and if prescribed, your plan ships free directly to your door. By getting access to Wegovy through Hers, you get so much more than just medication. You'll get ongoing support along your weight loss journey. See if Wegovy is right for you at forhers.com/radio. That's forhers.com/radio. forhers.com/radio.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Patrick was behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me, Optima Tax Relief.
Yeah, I got some new drops from you and from the big voice, so I'm going to chop that up tomorrow.
A free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC. News Talk 1080.
All right, we are back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I'll get to the phones in a quick second. So I got to send this out there, at least a shout. If you have worked for a public worker union, SEIU, something along that line, that's the Service Employees International Union, this story about David Huerta in Los Angeles, he was arrested at the protests. And the thing that I don't understand is, why would the Service Employee International be at the protests protesting ICE coming to pick up illegals? Unless I'm missing something. Are they getting dues from illegals? I don't want to create a ruckus, but it doesn't make sense. And I thought that was odd because the local Eyewitness News in California, in LA, mentioned that he was arrested. It was big news. Maxine Waters was making news about it, saying that she was hoping that he was okay because he got knocked down in the fracas. And I'm like, because that's just me. I'm under the impression that union presidents protect union workers. If there's something going on, that guy's supposed to make sure, hey, these guys union? You got to hire them first. Because, of course, you collect dues from these guys and you got to protect their interest and yours. They're working, they pay dues. So why would they be in there rallying for illegals working in the garment district and working at Home Depot? Doesn't make any sense. We also heard that Abrego Garcia, his union president came on CNN. An illegal MS-13 gangbanger has a union head? I wonder if they got dental. I wonder what the hell's going on. So I thought that was odd. But let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Tom and Thomas first. What's up, buddy?
Hey, hello. Hey, that makes perfect sense to grab up the illegals. They pay them cash, a low wage, and then they say, oh, wait, you're in the union. We got to take more out for the union dues. That makes perfect sense.
It just didn't make sense to me because I'm going, you can't legally take union dues from an illegal? That's got to be money laundering because there's no way to. How do you keep an account of that money?
No, that's the beauty part of it. They don't have to keep an account of it.
Indeed.
So Reese, I'm getting ready for work yesterday.
Yeah.
And I turn on Fox and they say, oh, the rioters, they moved them back to let the convoy in. They're starting to throw rocks. Oh, now the police are throwing bang grenades and smoke. Then I turn on CNN and they're, oh my God, they're throwing smoke grenades and bang grenades. Why are they doing this? Oh, we don't know. Maybe they threw rocks, but we have no proof of that yet. It seems, and then they editorialize about how it's an over-exaggeration of their power and, all this stuff. It was comical, side-by-side reporting.
I thought it was great that one of the representatives was on CNN. One of the reps from California was on CNN saying that, no, these protests are peaceful. And on camera, next to her, they're showing cars on fire. And that caught so many people's attention. It was that whole Veshley, or is that his name, Veshley from MSNBC, where the fire's burning behind him, and he says most of these protests are mostly peaceful as buildings burn behind them. I'm going, no one learns anything. It's insane. It's
1984 all over again.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Peaceful if it's a Democrat, and it's a riot and violence if it's a Republican point of view.
Hey, what did I say? When Cory Booker, my favorite line he said yesterday.
The reality is we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles. And
yeah, he said the reality is, which again is code word for don't believe your lying eyes. All that cars on fire and, things burning around you. The reality is, that's nothing.
Yep, it's word speak, 1984.
Exactly. Thank you, Tom. Let's go to Joe. Simsbury Joe, what's going on, sir?
Hi there. I got a couple of comments. First one, and I'm sure other people will feel the same way, is I am so sick and tired of people waving foreign flags on our soil.
Yeah.
When they are in the midst of violent protests, supporting violent protests, etc. And there's that one picture, the guy standing on the car with his shirt off. Too bad we don't have some sort of rubber bullet filled with blue dye that doesn't come off for 6 months, and shoot the guy right in the chest so that way he doesn't die, but he's covered in blue paint for the next 6 months.
like the bank robber. Like when the bank robber opens up the bag and the blue dye goes off.
Exactly. But I want to talk about Claudia Sheinbaum.
Yes.
Because I think there's something bigger going on here, and I don't hear the media really talking too much about it, and I obviously can't see every single piece of media out there when I say that. Mm-hmm. But let me do a simple Simon recap here. So we as a country taking our tax dollars to pay migrants to come here.
Yep.
We paid NGOs to help them come here, and NGOs are now helping them try to do street warfare. We're paying cops and firemen to clean up the mess. We're paying hospitals for all the protest-related injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Trump put in his big, beautiful bill that I want 5% off the top of any money that's being remitted by illegals from the United States to Mexico.
Yeah.
And Claudia Sheinbaum made a direct threat and talked about mobilizing.
Yes.
How are you going to mobilize? Am I to believe that the government of Mexico may actually have a big part in what we just saw occurring?
Yeah, that's it. I'll read the quote. Here it is right here. This is what she says. Mexicans are living in the United States are good men and women, honest people who went to the United States to seek a better life because they can't find it with you, for themselves and support their families. They are not criminals. They are good men and women. Sheinbaum called for Mexicans in America to mobilize and take actions if the U.S. decides to implement a tax on money sent home to Mexico because they're not paying taxes here. President Sheinbaum, remittances make up roughly 4% of Mexico's gross domestic product. Yeah, I would say Absolutely. And we know you're benefiting from their illegal work that they're not being taxed for here. They're paying that tax money to you.
Yeah, and we're only talking about 5%.
Exactly.
When we're providing how much money to them in terms of other services?
Exactly. They're double dipping.
Yeah, I wish, I haven't heard Trump respond to this yet. Maybe he has, and I missed it on Truth Social.
I have not heard anything yet.
I'd be telling her to walk that statement back. And then I'd be telling her on a private phone call that you start talking like that, we're going to destroy your economy.
Yeah.
And if I got to send troops in there to go after your cartels and we take out some of your corrupt police officers at the same time, then too freaking bad. But we're not talking 50%. We're talking a lousy 5%, which is probably what, when you go use a credit card at a store, probably what the store has to pay the credit card company for the right to take the credit card. Yet for these people who are here illegally, 5% is mobilization.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. Who the hell do you think you are?
I know. I could, again, this, you hear these bozos talk about the word insurrection, but can you imagine a foreign president telling her illegal compatriots to be in another country and to mobilize against another foreign? That is I don't know about you, but I almost feel like that is a declaration of war.
I believe it is a declaration of war, and I'll finish with this real quick here. Can you imagine? We live in a propaganda type world here, obviously.
Yeah.
If these people were marching and every single one of them had American flags and was saying, "No, don't deport us. We love America. We want to be here," what would be the propaganda win for them? It would be huge.
Yeah.
But they don't care because they're invaders. So
Absolutely
the moment
right.
you pull out a flag from a country that you supposedly hated to honor them so you could come here, we need to be dropping you from a plane at 30,000 feet.
You couldn't be
and
more.
Any of the lefties who support them too should be with them in that same parachute. Let's jump.
Exactly. You couldn't be more defined as an insurrectionist than, and a lot of people have said this, a lot of the people who were out there rioting were Mexican nationals, illegals in the country, flying Mexican flags, creating this drama. That's an insurrection. I don't care what anybody says. You're a foreigner on foreign soil flying your flag and going up against law enforcement. You couldn't get more insurrectionist.
You still have, speaking of insurrection, you still have ignoramuses, and I use that term as a term of endearment, that are now in the last couple of days all over the place saying, well, Trump didn't send in the guard on January 6th. Like, really? We're 4 years away from that, and you still don't realize that he offered the guard and it was turned down?
Exactly.
What kind of a moron are you?
An uninformed one. Thank you, Joe, as always, sir.
Thank you.
You got it. Do I have time? Nope. We got about a minute until we go to a break, right? When we go to 50, right? It's a new
Yes, sir.
New hour. So I'm getting used to the new hour. John, stay on the phone. We'll get back to you. I promise you in less than a second. As soon as we take a break. So everybody stick around. I've got more news, more views. I've got stuff loaded for bear today. We got to talk about the headlines. We got to get to between rounds. We got to get to David Huerta. If you worked in a union, I want to hear from you. Why is David Huerta getting arrested, trying to fight for illegals? I don't know. We'll talk about that. We've got news on climate alarmism. We've got Angel Reese only scoring 4 points, and they think they could beat me in a basketball game. We'll break that down. The stupidest thing I read today is also about a young man in Connecticut who goes to UConn. If anybody knows Irvin Ajay, who's a journalism student at UConn, I want to talk to this young man about the article he wrote in our Hartford Current. We'll get into that as well. So don't go anywhere. Stick around. Reese on the Radio returns on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Did you ever come home on a hot day, open your door, and your air conditioner just doesn't feel right? That's a real summer bummer. Say, come on into Campbell. From a simple seasonal tune-up or an air conditioner repair to the installation of a much more cost-efficient cooling system, Campbell's got the cool tools. Veteran-owned and managed, Campbell Heating and Cooling. Visit CampbellCooling.com.
Campbell Cooling uses all major name brands, including American Standard and Mitsubishi heating and cooling equipment. Let our expert technicians cool your home this summer.
Hey, baseball fans, you can win tickets to a Boston Red Sox game with the Red Sox Player of the Game contest. Just listen when we announce the player of the game during the 7th inning stretch. That would be during the break in the middle of the 7th inning, during every game broadcast on WTIC. Then tune into Brian and Company the following morning at 8:10. Know the player of the game, be the correct caller, and you'll win a pair of tickets to an upcoming game in Boston. It's the Red Sox Player of the Game contest, only on WTIC. News Talk 1080.
Brian Shackman here for QC Kinetics. Listen, a huge focus for everybody is health. More and more people are looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. They want natural solutions to their problems. Well, if you have joint pain and you want a natural solution and lasting joint pain relief, you might want to try the natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power at QC Kinetics. No surgery, no downtime, no drugs. These cellular level treatments revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. And the thing about it is, the consultation is totally free. You go in there, you find out if it's right for you, and then make a decision. And if you want to go this route, whether it's hips, knees, shoulders, or back, it could change your life. Okay, give them a call. The consultation's free. 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. And the chances are they're located near you. They have offices in Avon, New Haven, and Glastonbury. So give QC Kinetics a call. Set up that appointment. Stop just dealing with the pain. Do something about it. 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Lanny went to college. Huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Oh, I didn't have a drop for you.
Oh, that's okay. We just go up. It's all right. It's fine. We'll do it at the seat of our pants.
I don't know where it went.
That's okay. We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Let me get to John. He's good enough to call, so I want to make sure I got to him. How you doing, John? What's going on? You have a Reese on the Radio.
Hey, good, Eric. Listen, the Mexico and the United States, I'm not for illegals being here, but you got to get the right information. Mexico and the United States have a pact that says that what you earn in the United States, if you're employed for an American company who work as a Mexican in the United States, it's tax-free from the Mexican government, as the same thing goes in Mexico. If you work as an American down in Mexico for a Mexican company, then it's tax-free. You pay taxes to Mexico. You don't pay taxes to the United States, vice versa. That's the truth.
Well, no, wait a minute. Now, John, you seem to be missing a very key element of this debate. We are not talking about green card holders or visa holding people in the United States from Mexico. We're talking about illegals who don't pay into any.
I know.
Well, that's a key part about this.
But that's the way it sounded. I understand what you're talking about. But realize that when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, you know who rebuilt New Orleans? Mexican carpenters, Mexican electricians. They're only paid $4 an hour under the table, and that was U.S.-owned businesses that took these carpenters, these electricians, to rebuild New Orleans.
Hold on, John. I have two words for that. So what? Are you saying that because they illegally So they use the illegals to clean up New Orleans, and now you're saying that the federal government now has to wash itself of.
No, I didn't.
Then what's the purpose of bringing it up then?
All. I said I don't want those illegals up here, and I mean that unless they go through the proper lane.
Oh, okay.
But in the same sense, they should have been hired by these U.S. Business owners to rebuild New Orleans.
No, listen, I'm not disputing. Okay, I know that you're, okay, I get what you're saying. My point in all of this is that we have two different debates happening at the same time. If you are legally in the United States and you're paying taxes, or if you're not paying taxes, I should say, and that is the legal and proper way in which we do business with Mexican nationals working in the United States, I got no beef with that. But Donald Trump's issue is the fact that we know that illegals who are in the country working for American businesses take part of that money and send it right back to Mexico. So Mexico gets, in essence, as we've read here, gets 4%. I mean, it's 4% of their GDP. So what Donald Trump is saying, that Mexico should not reap the rewards for working in the United States. We should get that revenue because these people aren't paying taxes. They have no skin in the game.
We're not in an argument with that. But the way it sounded, the last guy said, it sounded like he was saying the opposite. So
he's saying that. Then. No, we don't believe that anybody should be allowed to work in the United States as an illegal, take that money that they get, under the table, and then give 4% of that to Mexico, and we don't get our cut. You still worked here. You live here. So you got to have some skin in the game.
Yeah, I understand. We're in agreement there.
Okay.
I just wanted to clear up the air with that.
You got it. Thank you, John. Much appreciated, sir. Okay. He and I must have had a difference. I don't know. Maybe he misheard Simsbury Joe. All right. Well, I'm glad we cleared it up. All right. When we come back, more news, more views. I need to know, again, if you worked in the Service Employees International Union, why would a union president be at a protest supporting illegals unless they were getting, am I missing something? Unless they're getting a cut. I need to understand that, okay? So help me out that. When we come back, top of the hour, we get the headlines, which we'll break down for you, so stick around. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. No what?
Going to the top.
We go straight to the top. Okay. I'm still getting the hour now. Okay, so we go right to the, okay, well, John Silva with news in a quick moment. And in the next hour, we have Mark Christopher and Jason Caterina joining us with weather and traffic, or traffic and weather, respectively. Also coming up, Angel Reese of the WNBA plays for the Chicago Sky. Nothing but air. Scores 4 points. I'll talk to Mark Christopher after we debate that and still think whether or not Angel Reese, who's one of the most popular WNBA players who can't score 4 points, or scored 4 points, whether or not she can take me on. Roland, you still think she can take me on? She scored 4 points in a professional game. You think
yes.
She's got, really? 4 points. 2 for 7 shooting. Really? 2 for 7 in a whole game. A whole game. 2 for 7. She took 7 shots, only made 2 of them. 7 shots in a whole game. And you really think that I'm going to have a problem with her? Oh, we'll talk about it. Also, we got some other female sports rivalries going on as well. Riley Gaines against Simone Biles. We'll talk about that. And stupidest thing I read today, a local journalist at UConn, Irvin Ajay, I hope I'm saying his name right, Irvin Ajay, wrote an article in the Hartford Courant today. We'll read from part of it. If you know somebody who knows this kid, get in touch with him. These kids no one ever leaves a telephone number or contact so you can reach these people. His name is Irvin Ajay, Earvin Ajay, like the football player. What was his name? What was Ajay's name? Remember him? I think
from the Dolphins, right?
Yes, that's right, from the Dolphins. Yeah, Ajay, Adjei. He's a journalism student from UConn. He's written 2 articles in the Hartford Courant. He's a great journalist, but what he's talking about in this new article, I need to talk to him about. So we need to find a way to get in touch with him. Hopefully he'll call in. Hopefully somebody will reach out to him and says, hey, we're talking about you. All right, now we can go. Let's get into the top of the hour news with none other than John Silva. And we're Reese on the Radio. We'll be back after these messages.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air.
Yeah, because there's no traffic in the 2 o'clock hour, you go to the top.
Go straight to the top. Okay.
WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
3 o'clock, 69 degrees. Good afternoon. We'll have clouds for the balance of this afternoon. Maybe a passing shower, not for everyone. All the forecast details coming up. State police say the newborn baby boy who went missing with his mother Sunday is now dead, and she remains hospitalized. WTIC's Morgan Cunningham with the latest.
In the northwestern Connecticut town of Washington, state police issued a silver alert for 27-year-old Sadie Fleming, who was described as leaving the Brinsmaid Road area on foot with her infant son Hudson sometime between midnight and 7 in the morning Sunday. By around 6 in the evening, Sadie and Hudson were found seriously injured on a wooded road and Woodline. Hudson was later pronounced dead at a local hospital. Sadie remains hospitalized. The extent of their injuries hasn't been disclosed. If you have more information, give State Police Troop L a call. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
President Trump is blaming who he calls insurrectionists for the unrest in Los Angeles over the administration's immigration policies. He says he'd arrest California Governor Gavin Newsom if it were up to him.
People that are causing the problem are professional agitators, they're insurrectionists, they're bad people, they should be in jail.
At least 27 people were arrested on Sunday. More from correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti.
It is completely locked down. You easily have hundreds of police officers staged throughout the area. We were here, thousands of protesters yesterday. They've since been dispersed this morning. The focus today, though, for law enforcement, federal buildings, which has become the target for these protests after the National Guard was sent in yesterday.
Newsom says he plans to sue the administration over the president's decision to deploy the Guard. Governor Lamont says the decision by the president to send in the Guard is making the situation worse without saying how he'd handle it if Trump tried the same thing in Connecticut. Lamont says governors lead their respective National Guards, and he hopes the federal government wouldn't come in with a heavy hand. Lamont adds the state does help the feds when it comes to catching dangerous criminals.
We do that in a collaborative way with the federal government. When it comes to students at Meriden High School or shoplifters or speeders, we don't get involved in their immigration status. That's not our business, and we don't play in that game.
Those at the National Institutes of Health say they're putting their careers on the line and speaking out in a letter to challenge policies they say undermine their mission.
The letter says Trump administration policies waste public resources and, quote, harm the health of people worldwide. Jenna Norton signed the letter.
What is happening at NIH is so egregious. The harms that we're seeing happen to our research participants and to public health and to the institution of science are just things that we could not live with.
The NIH workers readily admit they have jeopardized their jobs. Jim Crisula, CBS.
Grocery store mogul Stu Leonard Jr. and his wife Kim are once again promoting the importance of swim lessons for kids. The Stu Leonard III Water Safety Foundation was founded after the toddler drowned in 1989. Kim says it's important pay attention around the pool.
Don't be on your phone. And the other thing is to make sure that you communicate who's watching the child. Because in our instance, I assumed that Stu was watching him. He thought he was inside with me. And neither one of us just took that time to communicate.
The foundation donates free or low-cost swim lessons to organizations, including the Glenbrook Outdoor Sports Center in East Hartford. It also runs the Stewie the Duck Swim School in Norwalk. The Leonards say it takes about 4 lessons for a child to learn to float and roll over on their back, a skill that could be life-saving down the road. And preparations continue for this weekend's parade in D.C. to honor the U.S. Army's 250th birthday. Matt McCool, special agent in charge with the Secret Service, says miles of fencing, concrete barriers, and bike racks are going up.
You may also notice multiple drones operating in the area. These are great tools for law enforcement situational awareness and part of our layered security strategy. Rest assured, all drones will be owned and operated by the Secret Service or our partners, so please do not be alarmed.
He says they are expecting hundreds of thousands to attend. WTIC News Time coming up on 3:05. Checking traffic on this Monday afternoon. We still have some late-running road work in the area of Rocky Hill at 91 North between 23 and 27. Left lane's been closed there. That'll be the situation for about another half hour or so. Windsor Locks, 91 North between 42 and 44. They should be wrapping up. The 2 left lanes have been closed there for repair work. Some road work left over on 15 in Hartford northbound between 86 and 90, left and center lanes. That should be wrapping up momentarily as well. No major hassles in terms of any crashes or disabled vehicles to report in the greater Hartford area. So we'll turn our attention to weather. Meteorologist Bob Larson with the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Mostly cloudy the remainder of today and a little bit cooler than over the weekend. A little more than a passing shower, high 72. Will stay mostly cloudy tonight. Again, some areas will see a shower, low 61. Cloudy much of tomorrow with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. The sky could begin to brighten late tomorrow, turning at high 74. Can't rule out a leftover shower in parts of the area early tomorrow evening. Otherwise, turning out clear to partly cloudy tomorrow night and comfortable, low 58. For Wednesday, a good deal of sunshine and turning warmer but lower humidity. All in all, a nice day. It will be a hazy sky due to high-altitude smoke from distant Canadian wildfires. Wednesday's high 81. Warm and slightly more humid on Thursday. Hazy sunshine and a high up to 85. Friday becoming mostly cloudy and not as warm, high 79. We cannot rule out a shower or thunderstorm late Friday afternoon or Friday evening. Low Friday night, 58. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Wall Street, the Dow up 98 points, NASDAQ's up 91, and the S&P's ahead by 18. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Here at ALO, we believe hearing solutions to your main drain problems shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free mainline drain camera inspections and free estimates on sewer line repair or replacement. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO when you call, click, or text today and say, "Hello, ALO." Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D104014665, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM 3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
The law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott understands that divorce can be intimidating, and the decisions you make today will impact your life forever. Divorce is complicated. There's a lot at stake when considering your future. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of family attorneys have over 100 years of combined experience and understand every family law case is different. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer, you get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Katie Bissonette is responsible for the content of this ad.
If you need to hire...
1 minute.
The whole process
Yes,
can be
sir.
exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet...
I understand why it's 60-something degrees here. It's crazy.
next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter.
Was it down there?
Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose
Oh, that's not.
and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all,
Oh, okay.
time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ziprecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ziprecruiter.com/radio.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Yeah, we are back. Plenty of news and plenty of views to get into today. And I just want to thank everybody here at WTIC. Giving this humble correspondent the opportunity to come on for 4 hours. So first hour behind us. And don't forget, you can always download the Odyssey app or go to WTIC.com so you can check out the program if you missed it. You know what we're bringing back? You know what we're going to bring back? Because I know that this is a favorite of some people at the 5 o'clock hour.
I still don't know what had happened was. What had happened was.
That's right. What had happened was is coming back. We're bringing it back because, of course, with the 4 hours. So if you missed part of the program at 5 o'clock, if you're joining us when you just get in the car, we'll tell you what happened and what you missed throughout the show. And we'll give you a quick breakdown of all of that as well. Now, as we do on the show, and like I tell you, new show, new you, and we love it when we can bring new stuff. Let's get to some news. Some of the breakdown of the news that you may have heard, but there's been no real comment on. It has been a crazy weekend. ABC's Terry Moran was suspended from ABC News after a tweet about the Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller. Do we have that tweet here so I can read it? Let me see if I've still got it here. Which was interesting that Terry Moran did this. Yes, there's the tweet. Let me see if I can read it to you. It was a crazy thing for him to tweet out. Many people have suspected that Terry Moran was drunk when he did it, but I don't know. Here's what he wrote. He says, the thing about Stephen Miller is not that he is the brains behind Trumpism. Yes, he is one of the people who conceptualizes the impulses of the Trumpist movement and translate them into policy. But that's not what's interesting about Miller. It's not brains, it's bile. Miller is a man who is richly endowed with the capacity for hatred. He is a world-class hater. You can see this just by looking at him, because you can see that his hatred are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate. This is coming from a news guy, an objective news guy at ABC. Trump is a world-class hater, but his hatred only a means to an end. And that end is his own glorification. That's his spiritual nourishment. So Turan went on to do this on his personal Twitter page, again, as one of the chief correspondents of ABC News, which got him suspended. Now, I find him being suspended odd. Why? Because of this. ABC News is a part of, I still believe, a part of Yahoo News, or Yahoo News is a part of ABC News. CNN correspondent David Chilean used to work for Yahoo News. And right after the merger of Yahoo and ABC, during the 2012 presidential election against Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, Chilean was caught on a hot mic saying this. I hope you can catch it, but I'm going to play it.
You know, I mean, yes, it's a character, and yes, it's exaggerated.
They are happy to have a party with black people drowning.
There's a truth to it. Like, it's...
Yeah, David Chilean is in the background. He says about Mitt Romney and his wife when they were coming out during Hurricane, I think it was Hurricane Isaac. I thought it was Superstorm Sandy, but it was another hurricane when they came out. And David Chilean is heard in the background saying, look at them. They're having a party while black people are dying or drowning. That's what he said. Black people are drowning. And David Chilean was immediately fired for that. Why? Because of the standards of ABC News. And here you have, what's his name? Terry Moran doing essentially the same thing. Saying that, you know, calling somebody in the White House, plus much less the president, a world-class hater. So he got suspended, not fired. I thought that was also odd. An online beef between Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles and NCAA swimmer Riley Gaines over men in women's sports has come to a screeching halt after an old tweet by Biles has resurfaced. Have you seen this? Now, Biles is now running around talking about, oh, we should have men in women's sports. What's your problem, you bigots? What's your problem, you bigot? You can't accept transgenders in women's sports. And she went after Riley Gaines about it. And they had a back and forth. But as these things always go, there's always something sitting in the works. So someone found an old tweet from 2017 by Simone Biles, and it read, good thing guys don't compete against girls, or he'd take all the gold medals. Talking about a male competitor. And now that's come back to bite her on the rump. And no one's coming to Biles' defense because they know that she said it. It's like Joy Reid. So when they found out that Joy Reid had a lot of homophobic slurs on her Twitter before she joined MSNBC, she said that she was hacked. It's always typical. Don't forget Chris Murphy. Can't forget about him. Chris Murphy is also in the news. I read an article. He did an interview with the Bulwark last weekend, and the headline said, Chris Murphy, the only politician who can punch Donald Trump in the face. This guy, Chris Murphy? Are we talking about the same Chris Murphy? Is there a Chris Murphy MMA fighter that is a huge Democrat? We can't be talking about that guy. Chris Murphy doesn't want anybody to forget about him. He doesn't want the LA riots to take any attention from him. He was on Morning Joke with Mika Brzezinski. He said this.
But it can also be true that everything that's happened in the last 7 days between the fight with Elon Musk and now the deployment of the National Guard is probably also a distraction from the main story, which is that right now Donald Trump is trying to pass probably the most unpopular piece of legislation that he will attempt to move through Congress in his first term. He's going to throw 15 million people off their health care in order to fund a massive tax cut for the wealthy. It's going to add $2 trillion to our deficit. We're probably going to head into a recession. And so I do also think he's probably doing everything he can to try to get the entire political world to be talking about anything other than a piece of legislation that's going to fundamentally change this country. So, yeah, we have to point out the danger of what he's proposing to do in Los Angeles while also keeping our eye on the ball, which is a bill that's going to transform our economy and ruin a lot of lives.
Chris Murphy doesn't want anybody to forget about what he's working on. Singing, "Don't you forget about me. Please don't forget about me. Look, I know this LA thing is tantalizing, but remember me. I put on a beard. Don't you remember? I'm the guy that can punch Donald Trump in the face. Please don't forget me. I'm here too." It couldn't go without saying, because he also had to let everybody know to get out there on the street anyway. That's a big thing with Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy's got to see people out on the street because he thinks that works.
I mean, my first message is to keep it peaceful. I mean, obviously, this is a moment where we have to be on the streets all over the country to protest what's happening to our immigrant community, the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country, but more broadly to protest what's happening to our democracy. This is the most corrupt administration in the history of the country, and we are going to rise to this moment by being out there on the streets.
Yeah. You notice that little slip in that I threw in there? The most important constituency? You missed it? Yeah. Here's it again.
I mean, my first message is to keep it peaceful. I mean, obviously, this is a moment where we have to be on the streets all over the country to protest what's happening to our immigrant community, the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country.
Yeah, the most important people in the world, the most important constituency. Can't vote, don't pay taxes, the most important to the Democrat Party. Why? So they can clean your toilets. It's amazing, these people. It's absolutely amazing. Also in the news, as if the Democrat Party couldn't get any worse. As if it couldn't get any worse for them. A telephone call was recorded between Ken Martin talking to David Hogg at the DNC. Did you hear this audio? Ken Martin, the head of the DNC, talk about having a problem with men or reaching men and spending $20 million to reach men. This will not help. I kid you not, listen closely. Ken Martin talking to a child, David Hogg, a child, appears to choke up and begin to cry because he's making no headway with Democrats or the Democrat Party.
And I'll say, look, it has plenty of warts, and we're all trying to change those for sure. But the longer we continue this fight, the harder it is for us to actually do what we all want to do, which is make a difference in this country again. So I deeply respect you, David. I too was looking forward to working with you, but this has created a situation, and I'll be very honest with you, for the first time in my 100 days on this job, and Jessica knows this, the other night I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
He's ready to quit. He's ready to quit. They're ready to quit. That's the DNC headquarters. That's like where all of the stuff is thunk up. That's like the brain. That's the brain cell. Like, that's the whole thing, the kid caboodle. That's where they come up with all the crazy ideas. He's the president of that. He got voted in, and he's ready to go. That's how bad it is.
And partly not because of the stress and all the naysayers, right? I'm used to that. I've spent 14 years as a chair. I'm used to getting beat up on. But, you know, this is really everything, you know, from this election, this credentials report, and how Malcolm's been treated in this, to, you know, the fact the election itself, how Shasti and Gina were treated in this. I'm just quite frustrated to be in this position, because what you've done, whether you like it or not, or know it or not, David, is no one knows who the hell I am, right? I'm trying to get my sea legs underneath of me and actually develop any amount of credibility so I can go out there and raise the money and do the job I need to put ourselves in a position to win.
They're not making any money. No one believes in them. Nobody wants to take their hard-earned cash and give it to Democrats, not with a 19% approval rating. There's just no way you can do it. And this guy's a nobody, and he's being outsmarted by a child. By a moron child. David Hogg. You ever look at that kid? He looks like a bobblehead. He's being outmaneuvered by a child. Hold on, here's the good part. This is where he cries.
And again, I don't think you intended this, but you essentially destroyed any chance I have to show the leadership that I need to. So it's really frustrating. Jane.
I couldn't believe it. I was just listening and I went, did that guy cry? Yes, he did.
Are you crying?
No.
Are you crying? Are you crying?
Yes, he's crying. He's crying. He is boo-hooing. Dude, when you get a child to be, I mean, seriously, David Hogg, are we talking about the same guy? David Hogg that got you to the point where you're on the phone crying with women present? Oh, that's just awful. You couldn't get far worse than that. Doesn't this guy have a job to do instead of hating on Trump? Yes, actually, that's his new job. He told Michael A., he's talking about Chris Murphy and is asking it. Chris Murphy has told everyone that the last election was nothing more than a hiring to go after Trump. That's what the state of Connecticut hired him to do in the last election. Thank you, Chris. Do not do our bidding. Go out there and go on television and be in the newspapers and bash Trump. They don't care. No one's saying anything. They're not bringing it up. No one even bothers why. Nobody even bothers to ask why. He just does it. I don't hear anybody complaining. I don't even hear the news media complaining. Every time Chris Murphy shows up someplace that isn't Connecticut, they write about it. They just write about it. Hey, Chris is in the New York Times today. Hey, Chris is in the Wall Street Journal. Hey, Chris is on the Daily Show. Way to go, Chris. Hey, Chris, way to build your resume. You haven't passed any legislation for the state, but way to go on that great op-ed. Fantastic fluff piece in the Huffington Post. Go get him, Chris. Not one person's writing an article critical of the guy. Not one. No one's even asking if the news media will write a critical article about the guy. Hey, is anybody going to talk about the guy being in office and elected in office to essentially travel across the country and hold town halls with people who are not his constituents? Anybody? You have the news media literally applauding him. Hey, Chris is in Sheboygan today. Where will Chris go next? I bet it ain't Connecticut. And when does he come down to Connecticut? Oh, he comes down for one thing, wherever there are cameras. I'd love to know how that conversation goes. Hey, Chris, yeah, do you think you could join us? Rally, City Hall. Yes, this is Hartford calling you. Yeah. Yeah, you think you can make it to us? I understand that you're going to be in Nevada. I get it. I totally understand. But can't you take a moment to come down to Hartford to City Hall for this important rally? Yes, cameras are going to be there. Hold on. How many cameras? 7? 7 are going to be there. Chris, I don't know if I can make it 8. I don't know. We'll see if we can get News Channel 12 here. Okay, we'll work on it. Can we get News Channel 12? We can? Okay, Chris, we got 8. All right, we'll see you. Yeah, all right, no problem. That's what it's like. Chris shows up if there are cameras. He ain't showing up for you. Somebody explain to me what he's doing in North Carolina. Just please, anybody. Tell me how that's helping anybody in Connecticut at all. You guys are just standing around. Not one person in the news meeting even brought it up. Hey, why isn't he home? It's ridiculous. I don't know. We'll take a break. We'll take your phone calls when we return. Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. Taxes don't pay a nickel more than you're supposed to, especially getting close to retirement or in retirement. Call or text the word taxes to request your free copy of our Tax Explorer Guide, 1-800-705-1232. Call or text the word taxes, 1-800-705-1232. Don't pay an extra nickel in taxes.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks. But who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
And now, a WTIC news update.
69 degrees at 3:30. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A 1-month-old baby is dead. His mother remains hospitalized. Still more questions than answers in the case of Sadie Fleming and her son Hudson. The two were reported missing out of Washington, Connecticut on Sunday. They were found later in the day on a wooded road. Los Angeles bracing for more unrest today after a weekend of demonstrations against the Trump administration's immigration policies brought in the National Guard. California Governor Gavin Newsom is threatening legal action against President Trump for summoning the Guard. The president says there is a provision for him to call up military in the case of unrest and violence. Hartford police busy rounding up illegal dirt bike riders and arresting operators. Part of a detail in Colt Park on Sunday, they seized over half a dozen vehicles and made several arrests. The governor's office and the Department of Public Health say overdose deaths were down last year in Connecticut for the third consecutive year. They cite education and better access to overdose reversing medication. The director of the National Institutes of Health says some employees' critical letter to him has fundamental misconceptions about the policy directions the NIH has taken. A letter from researchers and staffers say the Trump administration's policies waste public resources and harm people's health. Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend says she cried for 3 days after reading a lawsuit filed by R&B artist Cassie Ventura against the hip-hop mogul. 2023 court papers describe hundreds of drug-laced marathon sex sessions with Combs and other men as horrific encounters. The woman who testified is known in court by the pseudonym Jane. She testified for a third day in Manhattan federal court at Combs' trial on sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charges. WTIC News Time is 3:32. Here's Bob Larson with the forecast.
Mostly cloudy the rest of this afternoon. The passing shower or two. High 72. Remaining rather cloudy tonight. Again, parts of the area seeing a shower, low 61. Considerable cloudy tomorrow. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm, though the sky could begin to brighten late tomorrow afternoon. High 74. A little more than a stray shower early tomorrow evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 58. Mostly sunny on Wednesday and warmer, but lower humidity. High 81. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, 69 and cloudy in Hartford, half hour before the close. Markets up slightly this Monday. The Dow ahead 52. NASDAQ's up 75, and the S&P is up 11 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
The Travelers Championship is back June 18th through the 22nd. Catch Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas, and defending champ Scotty Scheffler at the Northeast-only PGA Tour signature event. Get your tickets now at travelerschampionship.com.
Hi, everybody. It's Brian Green from the Commercial Break Podcast. It's likely you've heard of the show if you're directly related to me or you follow our MySpace page. But I'm not here to talk to those three listeners. I'm here to appeal to people who haven't heard the show. Along with my co-host, Kristen Joy Hoadley, we're taking a deeper look at the topics that are affecting our youth today. Like, who are the people who are dating ghosts? Where did all these pickup artists come from? And why doesn't my preacher have a nicer private jet? We understand that these are the issues you really want to get to the bottom of. The Commercial Break is now available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that. And often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book,
up to $2
I simply
million
must
in
add
coverage
you
with
to the
no
list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818.
800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Prescriptions require an online
man.
care provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra.
Thank you, sir.
Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. Free online visit and save up to 95%. Go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're back, and I'm reading some comments here on Facebook. Patrick G says they're supposed to, talking about the unions. I asked the question, why David Huerta, the president of SEIU, the Service Employees International Union, what he was doing at this protest, which in essence was ICE agents picking up illegals in the fashion district and at I guess a Home Depot. And it didn't make sense that the president of SEIU service. I understand union workers being at the protest, but let me read what Patrick G wrote. He says, I used to be president of Council 15. They're supposed to protect union workers, but they also attend rallies for other political causes that the Dems ask them to attend. Okay, and I get that, but I almost feel like that would be a conflict of interest, right? I wouldn't be sending a union president to go rally for illegal workers. I'm supposed to be, there's a union rep trying to get work for my workers who pay me dues. So again, I find that is odd. Maybe that is the case. Maybe they were just asking them to be there as a show of force. But I would just ask my union members to show up at that. Hey, this is your obligation. The Democrats are asking us to do that, so do that. I don't know if as a president I would. It just seems odd. Again, I could be wrong here. It just sounds odd. So if somebody else has some sort of insight into that, but thank you, Patrick. I appreciate the comment because it gives me something to somewhat understand. Maybe it is just showing support for Democratic causes. Let's go to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Hey, our good friend, Frank in Woodbridge is here. Hey, capiche.
Congratulations. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you,
I'm telling
sir.
Roland now. You're the Joe Clark at TIC. You're the head man, Reese.
The Joe Clark.
You got to open up the show. You got to open up the show with the bullhorn and tell everybody who you are. You're the head. You know what? I'm proud of you.
You know, it's so funny because
I knew one day that this would happen. I really did. Because you know why? Because you got determination, the drive, and the will to get ahead in life. You didn't hide behind the color of your skin.
I appreciate you saying that because, you know, in the next hour, I'm going to talk about this article by Irvin Ajay. This kid he's a young guy. He's a journalism student at UConn. He wrote this article, and Frank, you might be perfect for this as a question. So his article in the Hartford Courant today is the headline. Advocates say Connecticut needs more black male teachers. It makes a big difference. Now, before you answer to this is what, I don't believe this at all. Three of my favorite teachers were white males. I believe that kids learn better with male teachers. I don't think it has anything to do with race because three of my favorite teachers were all men. Not that they were stern, not that they were, they didn't take any shorts, so to speak. They were just good teachers, and I identified with them as a male, and they were interested in things that I was interested in. What do you make of this? Because you talk about this as young black kids in your neighborhood growing up. Do you think it made a difference?
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to borrow a line from an elderly woman about 3 years ago. She called up the Rush Limbaugh show, and they were talking about Obama. And she said, Rush, we don't need a black man in the White House. We need a black man in the Black House.
Wow.
That's what we need. We need a black man. When I was growing up, back in that family, married with the kids, going to that Southern Baptist church. That's what we need. The black families were stronger than white families. You know that's true.
I read the articles that said, in fact, that Shelby Steele, who did that documentary called What Killed Michael Brown, he actually states that statistic that in many of those households, 80% of the black families were intact compared to 70% in the white ones in the same neighborhoods.
And the black man controlled that house. Not like today, the black woman has to take charge. January 4th, 1964 was the first year Lyndon Johnson with that war on poverty.
Yeah.
And it played a very big role in destroying the black family. You know that's true.
I couldn't agree more. That's what Shelby talks about in that documentary.
I believe in personal responsibility, but when you reward bad behavior, you get more bad behavior.
Indeed. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing in L.A. Frank, thank you, man.
I'm so proud of you. Everybody asked me, Frank, do you think Reese can pull the wagon? I said, let me tell you something. I know this guy. This black man could pull the bus. Don't worry about this guy. So
thank you, buddy.
Good luck to you. Tell Roseanne I was asking for her, too.
You got it, boss man. She loves you. I will definitely tell her, sir. All right, folks. Let me get to James and our good friend James in Windsor, formerly of Harlem.
Hey, my brother from another mother, but we still brothers.
What's going on, sir?
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
It reminds me of the Shaka Zulu. One day I will be king. So I salute you, my brother. So good. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. I'm sorry about the other guy being let go, but it was meant to be. It's your time.
Thank you, sir.
So pay attention to your watch.
You got it.
Okay.
Thank you, James.
So I wanted to make mention about the L.A. riot, right?
Yeah, sir.
Now, what's so peaceful about it?
I don't know. I'll admit this, and I think you and I, because we're roughly in the same age group. And did you live in New York? Did you live in New York in '92?
I'm from Harlem. I was born 1954.
But no, were you in New York in the year of 1992?
Yes,
okay. Yes. All right. So I don't know if you remember. I remember it vividly because I lived in downtown Manhattan. I lived on Thompson Street, right outside of Washington Square Park. So we watched that.
Yeah.
We watched that procession, if you will, go through New York. And my first wife, a Jewish woman, as we were walking by, she was scared to death. She says, "Oh my God, am I in danger?" But that crowd of kids who were walking down there, this was during the LA riots before it got, when everybody was just protesting. And I remember looking at that protest on television during the Herbert Walker Bush years and understanding that I had never seen anything like that. And I wasn't old enough to remember Watts. I wasn't old enough to remember, because Watts was another big one. But this one was the biggest I had ever seen in my life. When you look at this LA riots, is this comparative in any way? Do you think this is a smaller sort of protest? Do you think it was as volatile as 92 was?
Well, violence is violence. I don't care how you measure
Agreed.
it. Okay, but back then, when they had the civil rights movement, what they did was they marched, and you more heard their voices. You didn't hear glass breaking.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So it was more unified, and that was a peace. Those were peace protesters. The ones in LA right now, the mayor and the governor is like, why the National Guard? Look at the video.
Yeah.
Because what will happen is they will, and it's not people that live there. These are renter protesters.
Mm.
Okay?
You know what I think another part about this, James, is if you really, I'm looking at this. If I'm the president of the United States looking at Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, I have precedent to bring in the National Guard. Why? Because I look at the way that they handled a natural disaster like the fires. There was no water. There were no fire, no fire trucks, no nothing. They mismanaged something that is a reoccurrence in the state of California. Why would I leave them to be responsible for this riot, this spontaneous, as it were, riot that took place involving federal agents? Why would I leave it to them?
Well, then again, it's also an oxymoron because it's violent, but it's peaceful.
Yeah.
That's an oxymoron. I'm sorry. The meaning don't match up with the cause because it's violence. They're sitting up there burning cars, burning the American flag, okay? Doing everything, breaking windows, destroying property, and that's peaceful. My Aunt Sally. Okay, Okay, one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Are you there? Okay, one more. Musk and Trump. That's a strategic move because Musk is losing money by supporting Trump, so he had to turn on him so he could save grace with his Teslas.
And boy, did Democrats bite hard on that one, didn't they? All of a sudden, hey, we can bring them back into our fold.
Yeah, because he had to publicly denounce Trump in order to save grace. Because I mean, he's the richest man in America, but you can only lose so much money before you're down with another lower class of people.
My wife said the other day, she was like, "Wow, he lost $34 billion," and I just went, "Look, if I had $100 and I lost 34, I'd be crying." It doesn't matter how much money you have. $34 billion is a lot of money to lose.
I would be crying in my own money.
I would be wiping my tears with my own money. Thank you, James. Much appreciated, sir. I appreciate you. You got it. Dave is in Brantford. How are you, Dave?
Well, Reese, yes, congratulations.
Thank
you.
you.
I got to say, as the substitute host for all the shows, we used to have 9 hours of live local, when Pastor Will would start the show at 9 o'clock and Todd would end it at 6.
Yes.
And every time there was a vacation or an absence, there you were, and you got to know the radio family of all those hosts, Pastor Will and Feinberg and Shattuck,
everybody.
And
yeah.
Even the substitute hosts, Joe Markley and Tom Scott and Chris Powell who'd come. And a little bit, and even Lieberman, is a part-time host a little bit and part of the show. And you were almost a perfect guy to inherit that radio family. And, because when Shattuck left, it's almost like that radio family is gone.
I'm going to try to keep it as alive as I possibly can. Trust me, I understand the weight. I got to wake up every morning with it. And it's like I got to wake up every morning and just going, they're relying on me.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Sunday New Haven Register.
Yes, please.
Opinion piece by Senator Saud Anwar.
Yes.
Here's the title. I believe it is time for Governor Lamont to step aside.
Did you see
that? So basically, it is the lament of an ultra progressive that an ordinary conservative Democrat is no longer good enough. And I have two lies I want to point to say these progressives, they're not truthful about anything. One was the unemployment compensation paid to striking workers in Bill SB 8 that the governor has indicated he wants to veto. Here's the quote from the senator. These decisions are not fiscally neutral. They place the full burden of labor disputes on workers and strip them of any meaningful leverage. You know what? When there's a strike, obviously management is suffering also.
Indeed.
What kind of delusional would say only the workers are the ones who are suffering?
That's the only people who they care about. That's the only thing they care about. They would sooner give the business to the workers.
And here's the other naked lie. The progressives wanted a great big increase in capital gains taxes on the rich. So here's the line. Lamont has also opposed efforts to impose even modest capital gains taxes on high-income earners, rejecting proposals to apply a small surcharge on individuals earning more than, whatever because it's 250 and 500.
Exactly.
But you know what? They're already paying capital gains taxes. It's a flat out lie to say the quote was he opposes efforts to impose capital gains taxes. They're already paying capital gains taxes. They lie. That's the Orwellian doublespeak.
Dave, let me ask you this before you go. Two questions. I'll just real quick.
Make all my points.
One. No. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. First question. Do you think Lamont runs? And if he does, do you think he's primaried?
I think he will be primaried, and as a not an ultra conservative, but an ordinary Republican conservative. If a Democrat has to win at this point, I prefer it be Lamont, because everyone else is worse or way worse. And I think William Tong is probably the worst of the lot.
Indeed.
Thank you for letting me on. Bye.
My pleasure, Dave. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views, your phone calls, and much, much more when we return. Don't go anywhere. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Hi, Dave Berger from Modern Plumbing Supply. Whether we like to admit it or not, we're all getting a little bit older each day. And as we get older, we need products to make our lives easier and safer, especially in the bathroom. From safety grab bars, shower seats, and handheld shower systems, Modern Plumbing Supply is the place to get your quality safety products at affordable prices. Modern Plumbing Supply showroom on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin. Products to make your life safer every day.
Great design with you in mind. Modern Plumbing Supply.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of water heater issues a year. We know how much of an inconvenience no hot water is, and with our fully stocked trucks and warehouse, you can get your hot water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted professionals at Ayala Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, E10401465, E11856643, S33086999, HIC 628926, SM30044646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks. But who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's your good boy? Oh, who's your?
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Summer's cool deals are going on now at Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale. This summer, save up to $1,000 on select mattresses. And say goodbye to hot sleep and save up to $500 on the best-selling Tempur-Breeze collection. Plus, feel the freedom to snooze now and pay later with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Better sleep starts at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
It's Reese on the Radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
And we're back. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC. I don't want anybody to get the impression I'm poking fun at anything, okay? Just so people understand. This is something I've been wanting to do for 20 years. I like the battle of the sexes. Not in the way that it's been played out in the news. So let me tell you a little background to this whole story, okay? A couple of years ago, on a podcast that I was doing out of California, I was, on the East Coast, but out of California, there was a woman who played semi-pro tennis. She played semi-pro. And I said, all right, give me a racket. I played enough times in my life, I can beat her. So everyone was, of course, saying, oh, you're going to get annihilated, Reese. Absolutely, you're going to get torn apart. And I went, okay. And I talked a big game. I was so braggadocious. Yeah, sure, I'll get beaten. Okay, truth be told, I did get beaten. Okay, straight sets. But back 20 years ago, again, being a huge fan of Diana Taurasi during that championship run, I know you all remember it. It was 2004, both men's and women's at UConn, they won the championship. And after the championship, I said, oh, you know what? I think, in fact, it was the host of the show that said that I couldn't, as tall as I am, said I couldn't play basketball. To which my response was, yes, I'm 6'3", I can't play basketball. I gave him that, the line my mom said, I'm a 2-story house without stairs. And so he, who knew that I liked Diana Taurasi, he said, I bet you couldn't beat her in a game. I said, yeah, bring it on. I said, of course. So I wanted to, and it never panned out. It never happened. And this is my opportunity. I'm back in Hartford, Connecticut. I'm at WTIC. I have an Emmy award-winning producer. I didn't have that before. I got that now. And it's a brand new show. And I want to take on that challenge. Now, I know if I'm playing one of those NBA guys, come on. They beat the snot off of me. But I want a fighting chance. That's all. And so Roland said they would, and I really do believe that it would be a challenge. I'm no basketball player. Like I said, I've got the hand-eye coordination of Stevie Wonder. Straight garbage. I understand my handicap here. But I think I can give it a go. I think, and this is one of those things where I, again, never playing the sport professionally at all, I think I got a shot. So I want to play within my weight, play within my skill set. That's all I'm saying. Roland, on the other hand, thinks that I've got no shot at all. Neither does Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. I haven't heard from Jason Caterino or John Silva, but that's okay. They're probably keeping that to themselves. They're probably doing quiet betting. They don't want to let me know whether or not they're betting against me. They don't want to build up my confidence here. I totally get that. I get it. But that's okay. I got everybody against me. I got Roland against me. I got Mark Christopher.
No chance.
See? He's even playing Stevie Wonder. He's mocking me. Mocking me.
Sing it.
Yeah. First of all, Stevie Wonder cannot see anybody on the street. Can we stop that now? Change those lyrics. Jason Caterina's got weather. Mark Christopher's at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Stevie Wonder has a better chance of beating that whoever you're going to go up against than you do. I'm just being honest. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 A&B, northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. This traffic report being brought to you by Tab Computer Systems, a 100% employee-owned company. 84 eastbound delays, 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley, westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley out to 47 Sigourney, 291 through 84 okay, 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro, 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge, 9 north again tight from exit 34 up to 36 in New Britain. Eastbound 84 Waterbury tight 17 to 18. Westbound 84 slowing approaching 26 up to 25 again 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Danbury, look for slow traffic. New York, Connecticut line out to exit 5. An accident reported there. Eastbound at 5. 84 eastbound slowing again 9 in Newtown to 11 in Newtown. Southbound 95 New Haven tight 46 to 43. Southbound Parkway delays 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. IT service, cybersecurity, and compliance does not have to cost your business its bottom line. For more than 40 years, Tab Computer Systems has helped Connecticut and Western Mass businesses with affordable computer services. Call Tab Computer Systems today and see how they can help your business succeed. 1-888-TAB for help or tabinc.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. Considerable cloudiness for the remainder of today and tonight, with a little more than a passing shower or two. High this afternoon 72 and low tonight 61. We'll stay mostly cloudy tomorrow, with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm moving through. Maybe a trend of clearing, though late tomorrow, turning at high 74. Still could be a stray shower early tomorrow evening. Otherwise, turning out clear to partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 58. Wednesday looks nice. Mostly Sunday and warmer, a little hazy, high 81. I'm Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock Hartford temperature, 69 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. California is suing President Trump. Attorney General Rob Bonta.
I, in partnership with Governor Gavin Newsom, are suing President Trump and asking the court to set aside the president's unlawful action federalizing the California National Guard.
Says the state's sovereignty was trampled by the president in ordering the Guard in to get a hold on protests over the weekend. Legal analyst Lori Levinson.
Governor has said that there was no effort by the Trump administration to coordinate with California or Los Angeles officials, and that, in fact, it's done more harm than good to call out the National Guard.
He says the protests, President Trump has the authority to do so when the situation warrants. Here's Stacey Lim.
After returning from Camp David, the president stopped to talk briefly with reporters on the South Lawn. He commented on California's governor.
I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent.
And was asked who is instigating the chaos in L.A.
People that are causing the problem are professional agitators. They're insurrectionists. They're bad people. They should be in jail.
Governor Lamont says President Trump has escalated the situation. Lamont asked what he would do if President tried the same thing in Connecticut.
I think calling in the National Guard in L.A. made the situation an awful lot worse. Look, I believe in the governors take the leadership with our Guard, and I hope they would work with us on this and not have the heavy hand of the federal government coming in and telling localities what to do.
He says he's worried about ICE arresting students, citing last week's detention of a Meriden High School senior days before graduation. State police continue their investigation following the death of a newborn baby who went missing with his mother Sunday. The woman remains in the hospital with serious injuries. The two were reported missing from the town of Washington, Connecticut. Sunday morning, a silver alert was issued for 27-year-old Sadie Fleming, who is said to have left the Brimsmaid Road area on foot between midnight and 7 a.m. Sunday with her infant son Hudson, according to state police. Sadie and Hudson were found on a wooded road in Washington around 5:45 Sunday evening. Hudson was later pronounced dead in an area hospital. Anyone with any information being asked to get in touch with state police at the Troop L barracks. President Trump's travel ban on a dozen Middle Eastern and African nations went into effect today. He says in an effort to prevent terrorism and enhance national security.
A lot of these places were the target of Donald Trump's ire on the campaign trail. So places like Venezuela, Haiti.
Correspondent Torian Small. Grocery store magnate Stu Leonard Jr. and his wife Kim are reminding parents and guardians to get their kids swim lessons. Their toddler son drowned in 1989. They say at the very least, children should learn to float.
Get them waterproofed. Forget the swimming part of it. All they got to do is learn to roll over on their back, right, Rose? You will save their life if you can get them to roll over on their back. What's that, about 4 lessons?
Says adults must pay attention anytime kids are around a pool. The Stu Leonard III Water Safety Foundation has raised $6 million over the years. It donates free or low-cost swim lessons to groups, including the Glenbrook Outdoor Sports Center in East Hartford. There are multiple reports on the death of funk pioneer Sly Stone. Variety reports a statement from Stone's family says the 82-year-old died from COPD and other underlying health issues. The singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist led Sly and the Family Stone, enjoying huge success in the late 60s at Woodstock into the early 70s. The band scored with hits including Dance to the Music and Everyday People. The band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1993 against Sly Stone, dead at the age of 82. Wall Street, just before the close, the Dow was down a point. NASDAQ was up 61, S&P up 5. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is Dale for Northeast. Our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in well over 90% of cases. Here is one of our patients, Bill, sharing his experience on our ED treatments.
My name's Bill, and I'm a patient at Northeast Men's Health. I suffered with ED for a couple of years, and I wasn't satisfied with my intimate life with my wife. If you have a problem, find a solution. If you have ED, seek out Northeast Men's Health. Go there. You've got nothing to lose. I am having good sex, but it's not just about the sex. Colors are brighter. My mood was brighter. I had more passion for everything in my life, not just sex, everything. I'm going to Northeast Men's Health. Go there, give it a try, meet the people there. They'll take care of you.
Thanks, Bill. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
Yeah, make sure that you do that. Reese on the Radio is there. You can also go to reeseontheradio.com. And why are you going to reeseontheradio.com? Because you can win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. That's right. Today's winner is Allison W. She's in New Britain. We've already sent her information. Congratulations, Allison, and thank you for listening to Reese on the Radio every day so that you can join out. If you'd like to join as well, go to reeseontheradio.com and put in your information. You must, of course, live in the Connecticut area, and you could not have won within the last 6 months. So put all your information there. Go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. I also want to say that I just heard in the top of the hour news with John Silva that we lost R&B rock and roll legend Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone. And I wasn't really into his music. That was my mom's music. But of course, because music is, transcends time. You grow up sort of listening to that music as you grow up because your mom's listening to it as she gets older. So you kind of familiarize yourself with it. But I wanted to go, and I was reintroduced to him in a very sad way. And I know many of you will remember this. There was an article in a magazine. I want to say it was in either Rolling Stone or some other magazine, had done an expose about him. And it was about him in 2011 being homeless and living in a van. And that really tore me apart. Somebody that, idyllic in the music industry, living in a van. He lived on 783 Bel Air Road. It was a 4-bedroom apartment. It was the last place he lived in before he ended up in a van. Wow. Dead at 82, Sly Stone. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic. Jason Caterina's not in because I think I just heard somebody else. And Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark. There he is. Oh, yeah.
Checking each other out.
This is the jam right here.
Oh, my God.
Let me tell you something. I will tell you this.
Hit that note.
No, I'm never hitting that note. Yeah. Not going to happen. I'll break something. Do you notice the thing I have to tell you about this, Mark? That's the best part about this, and I grew up understanding this very young. Mm-hmm. The reason why I didn't get Sly, the reason why I didn't get Jimi Hendrix, I wasn't mature enough. When I got, I'm wearing a Rolling Stones shirt today. I had a girlfriend in the 90s who played them every day. I couldn't get into them. It was until I was 35, I realized, wow, what a great band, because I wasn't mature enough. And Sly was just one of those bands that I didn't get until I got old enough to realize what they were doing and what they were saying.
That's right. As your taste mature, you understand the greatness of it when you get a little bit older. No question about it. That's a big loss. He was what a legend.
Indeed.
Hey, if you're in the music industry, if you're heading into Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, you got delays 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley, westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge at 47 Sigourney, 91 southbound delays 33, down to 32 A&B, northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor, 291 through 84 okay. 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound a little slow at the Aragoni. 9 north again a little tight, 32 up to 36 in New Britain. 84 eastbound in Waterbury slowing by 36. Westbound 84 tight up 26 to 25. Again, 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound delays New York, Connecticut line out to 5 in Danbury, slowing again from exit 9 in Newtown out to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway delays 60 into the West Rock. 95 south delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples.
How many times have we all said, that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got us saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples, that was easy.
WTIC weather.
Mostly cloudy the remainder of today. A little more than a brief shower. High is 72. It'll stay mostly cloudy tonight again. Can't rely on a passing shower. Low 61. Mostly cloudy weather for our Tuesday. We do expect a couple of showers, even a heavier thunderstorm. High tomorrow 74. Maybe a leftover shower early tomorrow night. Then clearing. Low 58. Wednesday looks nice. Mostly sunny and warmer. Not too humid. A high of 81. It's currently 70 in Bristol. It's 69 in Manchester and 70 degrees in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
We have something to buzz about.
There he is, Bob Larson.
Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the B is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit calltheb.com. That's calltheletter.b.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about your thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Don't let a root canal scare you. Columbia Dental's endodontic experts provide gentle and effective root canal therapy. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Town Fair Tire is proud to sponsor the Hartford Yard Goats all season long. Catch all the action at beautiful Duncan Park. Last season voted the best minor league ballpark in all of the minor leagues. Town Fair Tire and the Hartford Yard Goats, 2 Connecticut winning franchises, team up this season as the Yard Goats go for another playoff run. Town Fair Tire and the Hartford Yard Goats, rolling together all season long.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Prescriptions require 1 minute. With a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. And visit and save up to 95%. Go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Because I know a lot of you go back to reaseontheradio.com or you'll go to my Facebook page to go watch the show because there may be some video content or something that you always want to look up. Please, at this mark, at about 13 minutes after, go there. I just put up a picture of the van that Sly Stone was living in. And I said his former address was in Beverly Hills. When he was homeless, this actually, I thought this was pretty interesting. This van, where it's parked right here in this picture, the van that he was living in, and he was 60, I think 68 at the time, when he was living in it. It was like a little camper. It was located, 68 in 2020 and 11. It was located in the neighborhood that they filmed Boys in the Hood. That's where it was located. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was still recording at that time, 68 off a laptop computer inside of a van. So the van is there. There was an article about it in the New York Post from 2011. So I wanted to share that. I remember that story. I remember the day I saw it. I was like, wow, that seems so sad that he would be there living in a van. But substance abuse, financial mismanagement, all that stuff, it can happen. You also notice in that picture there was a wire that was coming off the side. I guess somebody was giving him some electricity. So at least that was happening. Let's go to the phones, 860-522-WTIC. Ralph is in South Carolina. Hello, sir.
Good, Reese. I got a couple questions for you.
What do you got?
First one is, all these people who are being arrested are convicted criminals.
Yes.
Why do these morons want them released? I think we should do is take these criminals and move them in with the morons.
Because it isn't, remember, most of this is not about the crimes that these illegals have committed. It is about pushing back on immigration. They are telling us that, look, we let in 20 million people, just accept it and leave them alone. We need them here, stop bothering them. And now that someone is cleaning up that mess, the objective is to give the impression, because remember, no one's talking about whom was arrested by ICE. That has never been a conversation. You need to go to alternative media to actually realize the people who were rounded up, because no one wants to talk about that. It's an argument about immigration. That's it.
Another thing that really bothers me, and I was a firefighter for 11 years, Reese. When I'm watching these garbage people throwing cinder blocks and pieces of cinder blocks at police cars and police, if I were there in charge, you know what I would tell my officers? Shoot to kill.
I'll put it to you this way. That is never, no matter where you are, is ever going to play well on news cameras. Because it would take, and I saw this in Baltimore, and it's crazy that this happened, but you'd have to go back to watch it. There were people who were throwing chunks of rock that were as big as a basketball at the Baltimore police when they were rioting the death of Freddie Gray. What happened while those police officers were in riot gear was a shock to my system. The police retreated and ran away from these rabble-rousers and protesters. That was what was caught on the helicopter camera. The police retreating while their command center was telling them to do so. Don't always forget, and don't forget what happened after George Floyd in was it in Minnesota? What's his name? Tim Walz's state. What happened? They took over a police station and burned it to the ground as the police officers were told to retreat.
Well, I think the average American, Reese, what would not play well on the evening news is bloody police officers or dead police officers.
Yes.
I don't think that would play well.
I don't think so either. I think that's exactly my point, is that this is it's putting these officers in harm's way. It is trying to celebrate people who wish to do those officers harm. I don't think that this is playing well. The news media may think that this is making the Trump administration look bad, because those are the optics when it comes to the news media, is that what's playing out in LA is supposed to be an embarrassment or blemish on the president. It isn't. It's a blemish on the people who are trying to hurt law enforcement officers.
In my mind, Reese, if you shoot a couple, the rest will go home.
Well, look, remember, right now, all we have is a rally right now. We'll see what happens tonight.
Right. I'm going by yesterday when they showed them dropping those from a bridge, overhead bridge on police cars, putting cinder blocks and pieces of cinder blocks.
Did you hear what Gavin Newsom said? Gavin Newsom said this. Remember, this is the reason why you pull in the National Guard, is because Gavin Newsom is telling the news media this.
We're here to support local law enforcement. There's a mutual aid process. Local law enforcement had no needs.
He said the law enforcement had no needs. He's saying that. But here's the police chief, the LAPD police chief.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing. So
this is nonsense. You have to take the reins from the governor. Because if he believes that the police department is well manned and the chief of police is saying that we aren't, this guy's incapable. Somebody's going to die.
You're 100% correct, and we have a lot of gnats down there, and their brains are bigger than that governor's brain by a lot.
Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate you, sir. Let's go to Bob is in Middletown. Let me take him first. Hold on. I'm sorry. They're just putting him on. There he is. Bob is in Middletown. How are you, Bob? Oh, Rob. I'm sorry. Rob is in Middletown.
How are you, Reese?
I'm pretty good, sir.
I'm cracking up over here. I just listened to 30 News open, and then they open, peaceful protests in Los Angeles were interrupted by gas bombing cars and lighting cars on fire. It's unbelievable. I don't know how anybody watches that station. It's all they do is lie continuously.
And the crazy part about it is that they're trying, and this is the thing that I've said for a long time, and it's a new tactic, Rob. The new tactic is let's separate the protesters from the rabble-rousers, from the people who are creating violent acts. Let's separate the two. That's never going to happen. That's like, it would be like asking the news media to separate people who went into the Capitol with the people who showed up at the rally for Stop the Steal. They never did that. There was never any separation. It was never like batteries sold separately. It was never done like that. So to try to sell us this nonsense that the two are not the same is another attempt to gaslight us into saying, no, these aren't those folks. These are these folks. It's a joke.
There is no separation. You're out there, you're in it.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that.
You all have the same sentiment. Just some people are bolder than others. There are some people who are out there protesting who just don't want to get arrested and do not want to have felony charges on them. However, there are others who have no problem with that.
No, they don't.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Let's go to Gary in Southington. Hello, Gary.
Hey, Reese.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I wanted to make a couple points. These so-called protesters are not just burning, smashing police cars and burning police cars, and now they're going into businesses. They're looting businesses just like they did 4 years ago, and they're destroying businesses. And you said that if they, like their caller said, that they should start shooting them, this wouldn't play well. No, of course it wouldn't, because it's the wrong side of the aisle.
Exactly.
Ashley Babbitt was unarmed, and she was point blank executed.
Yep.
And nobody said that. Now, as a matter of fact, some of the media said she deserved it.
Yes,
some
they
of the
did.
Liberal media said she deserved it, and Michael Berg should be in prison.
I couldn't agree with you more.
If
there was anybody who was a police officer who had a record of recklessness, like leaving his gun in a bathroom stall. Remember that? Like this guy was the most reprehensible law enforcement figure known to man. This guy, I'll put it to you this way. If we were to compare, this officer made Derek Chauvin look like a saint. This guy had so many blemishes. And what they did for him to protect him, the Washington, swamp, what they did to protect this man after he murdered Ashley Babbitt, it blows the mind what they were willing to do.
And then he made the statement that by shooting Ashley Babbitt, he saved many lives that day.
Goodness
That's
gracious. Yeah, I know.
But,
It was insane in and of itself. Thank you, Gary. I don't know what to tell you. When you hear people like Chris Murphy saying that we need to have more and more people in the street, folks, the weekend's coming. If this doesn't die out, which I believe it will in the coming days, I believe that all the momentum was in the weekend. But if this continues through the week, you know what happens? The rent-a-mob comes here. The rent-a-mobs, because what happened in California is a necessary action by ICE and the federal government. If you missed the opening monologue, I want you to think about these numbers. African Americans in California make 2.5 million. It's 2.5 million. That's the population in California. Illegals make up 2.6 mil. Those are the people that they know. Now, it's California, folks. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are hearing that number saying to yourself, come on, Reese, that number's got to be double. I agree. I believe reported illegals in the state being 2.5 into California, which is a border state with Mexico, 2.5. I think that's the most modest number I've ever heard in my entire life. I wouldn't be surprised if the real number was 6 mil. I wouldn't be surprised. What? Listen, why else would they be rioting? When reparations didn't happen in California for African Americans, 2.5 million of them, no riots. When homes burnt down and the fire department didn't have any water, and Karen Bass was in Ghana, there were no riots. Nothing. No one even thought about rioting. Finding out $24 billion was spent on a light-speed rail that still isn't on its way, and they need another 160 bill? No riots. Water shortages, nothing. No riots. But illegals? All of a sudden, there's explosions everywhere. Things burning down. Cars set on fire. What happened? For illegals. Who wrote that? Eric? Eric says maybe 2.5 million just in L.A. Again, yeah. I couldn't agree more. But mark my words, someone is right now, and it might even be Chris Murphy, sitting around going, hey, I think I have a reason to come to Connecticut. We need to be in the street. That's what he said. He said we need to get people in the streets.
I mean, my first message is to keep it peaceful. I mean, obviously, this is a moment where we have to be on the streets all over the country to protest what's happening to our immigrant community, the people we care about most.
That's right, the immigrant people, the immigrant community, the people we care about most. Think about it. I mean, why else, right? Why else? They're fighting for them to stay on Medicaid, fighting for them to stay in the country. None of this is coincidence, folks. None of this is coincidence. I don't know. I doubt I'm wrong about it. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. Southbound 91 coming into Hartford. Look for delays. 33 down to 32. Again, down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 384 OK2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound, you got slow traffic Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 north in Berlin, delays again from 32 up to 36. In New Britain, if you're on the westbound side of 84, delays approaching 26 up to 25 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound, a little slow in Waterbury from 17 to 18. 84 eastbound Danbury, you're tight from the approaching the New York, Connecticut line out to 5 against slow traffic from 8 in Danbury out to 11 in Newtown. Southbound 95, New Haven slowing 46 to 43. Southbound Parkway got tight traffic now approaching 60 in Hamden. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by the CT Insider. Explore more at ctinsider.com.
There's more to Connecticut with CT Insider, a hometown behind every headline. With every issue, investigation, or interview, there's more when you're following from the inside. Visit ctinsider.com for more.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Mostly cloudy the rest of this afternoon with a passing shower or two. High 72. Remaining rather cloudy tonight. Again, parts of the area seeing a shower, low 61. Considerable cloudy tomorrow with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, though the sky could begin to brighten late tomorrow afternoon. High 74. A little more than a stray shower early tomorrow evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 58. Mostly sunny on Wednesday and warmer, but lower humidity. High 81. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Cloudy skies and 69 degrees, the temperature in Hartford. A child is dead, his mother in the hospital after they were initially reported missing from the town of Washington, Connecticut on Sunday. Sadie Fleming and her 1-month-old son Hudson reportedly left between midnight and 7 a.m. Sunday. They were found later in the day on a wooded road in town. California has filed a lawsuit against President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops to L.A. to confront immigration protesters. That, according to the state attorney general, who says the president has trampled on the state's sovereignty. Back here, union members are rallying in support of those in California today at the state capitol. Travel ban enacted by the president, now in effect, covers mostly a dozen mostly Middle Eastern and African nations. It also imposes heightened restrictions on people from Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, among others, who are outside the U.S. and don't hold a valid visa. Hartford police rounded up suspects in a dirt bike detail over the weekend in Colt Park. They seized over a half dozen dirt bikes and ATVs and made several arrests. And a report out today from the State Department of Public Health says overdose deaths in Connecticut were down in 2024 for the third year running by 26% when compared to the year prior. On Wall Street, the Dow lost a point today. The NASDAQ picked up 61 and the S&P was up 5. Tampa Bay and the Red Sox tonight start a series at Fenway, 6:10 on the radio. Boston has also called up top prospect Roman Anthony. The Yanks and the Mets are idle. Eastern League Yard Goats have the night off. They'll start a series Tuesday versus Akron at Duncan Park. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on Earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses of life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
But do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let's go to Fulton in Waterbury. How we doing, sir?
What's going on? I had a question about what can the police actually do in California with that California CARES Act? And we have the same thing with the Connecticut flu.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
So the California CARES Act, and the police hands are tied with federal agencies, I believe.
Right.
They can't step in. So, like, what else could Trump do? I mean, Trump had to call in the people that, like, they're outmanned. The same thing was going to happen in Connecticut.
And
like,
that's
they can't help the police.
And that's exactly right. They are outmanned, as the police chief of the LAPD said. In fact, let me play the whole bit for you real quick, Fulton.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing. They'll take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers, to throw at cars, and throw at other people. We've seen people with hammers, and you've broadcasted, breaking the bollards behind the federal building and taking the rocks, if you will, or pieces of concrete, and throwing them at officers. We've had liquid of who knows what description thrown at officers. There's no limit to what they're doing to our officers. And again, as I mentioned in my statement, I can't thank our folks enough and our partner agency police officials for going out there and taking care of the community and trying to be able to put themselves between the threat and the overall community.
And that's their job. Their job as peace officers, if you will, is to protect the community from the people who are trying to burn it down.
Right, so the police can't get involved with that California CARES Act until there's actual occurrence of violence, right? If that's
Exactly.
The law is there.
That's right.
So the same thing in Connecticut, right? So, like, your kind of hands are tied until what? It becomes out of control, or, I mean, the video shows there was violence. So I don't really understand why they would sue him. They stop this. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but you know what? That don't even look. I know it's news because it's news, right? So when you hear this thing about we're suing the Trump administration, that's all it is. It's news because it's news. Not that it has any weight. There's no real weight behind it.
I know they'll lose that lawsuit, but it just doesn't make sense. I mean, the people who live there should be revolted. They should really, like, if it came to Connecticut, I wouldn't want that outside my house. People fighting for immigrants outside my house and throwing rocks through my window.
Again, look, like I said, this. I'll put it to you this way, Fulton. What do we know about protests and rabble rousers like this? They always overplay their hand. After a while, they're not so sympathetic to Trayvon Martin or Mike Brown or George Floyd. After a while, they've overstayed their welcome.
I think that happened in the first summer law. I think they're trying for summer law part 2, but I don't know if it's going to work,
Yeah, well, you'll see. It'll happen. Thank you, buddy. And I really do. I wholeheartedly believe that. Look, here's what happens. And you could name any one of the things that I just mentioned. The news media takes that story, bloviates about it, then the facts come out, and they stop talking about it. It's over with. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Reese. Thank you very much. If you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound a little slow, 46 into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay, 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Again, 9 northbound's tight, 32 up to 34 in New Britain. If you are traveling into Waterbury right now, 84 eastbound, look for delays approaching 18 westbound. 84, you got some slow traffic now as you move from 25A up to exit 25 in Waterbury. If you are traveling right now into the Middletown area, 9 northbound, got a little slow traffic now as you move up on the Aragoni Bridge. If you're heading 84 eastbound into the Danbury area, you've got delays from exit approaching the New York, Connecticut line out to 5. Again, from 8 in Danbury out to 11 in Newtown. 95 southbound delays 46 to 44 in New Haven. Southbound Parkway delays approaching 60 toward the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Mostly cloudy as we close out the afternoon. A little more than a shower and a high temperature 72. It'll stay mostly cloudy tonight. Again, a brief shower cannot be ruled out. Tonight's low temperature 61. Cloudy tomorrow, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm Maybe clearing toward evening. High tomorrow 74. Any leftover shower will give way to more complete clearing tomorrow night. A little bit cooler. Low tomorrow night 58. Then mostly sunny and warmer on Wednesday, but lower humidity. A nice day on Wednesday with a high of 81. It's currently 70 in Meriden. It's 69 degrees in Farmington and 70 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you have in mind, find out if it can be covered at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
How did you get your tripping breakers fixed so fast?
ALO Home Services. Same day electrical. I gave them a call and they had a technician on their way. They even sent the technician's real-time location so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day? That's crazy.
If you need same-day electrical, call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D1040145, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us, because you want your intimacy to be fantastic and for the one you love. At Northeast Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Well, in case you haven't heard, we have more breaking news. According to the Wall Street Journal and CNBC, about 700 U.S. Marines mobilized to Los Angeles, according to Pentagon officials. They're saying 700 here, Eric. I got 700, according to CNBC. It says about 700 U.S. Marines were mobilized on Monday to support the California National Guard to protect federal personnel and property in Los Angeles. NBC News has reported, citing 2 Defense Department officials. The mobilization of the Marines is temporary to give time for additional National Guard troops to arrive. Earlier Monday, President Trump said that he would support arresting Governor Gavin Newsom for purportedly obstructing federal immigration enforcement actions in Los Angeles. And you may have also heard, I think, if I'm right here, Gavin Newsom was saying, come and arrest me.
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his words. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. But you know what? Let your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated.
We'd actually say that to the illegals. That's what I would say. This, giving this impression that, law-abiding citizens are the ones that are being targeted. He knows damn well that's nonsense. Nobody's grabbing 4-year-old girls from preschool. No one's doing that. That's what makes this guy a clown. That's why no one can trust him. They're saying that Donald Trump is usurping his authority because he doesn't know what he's doing. This guy's a fashion plate. That's all he is. He's Gordon Gekko. Someone put him in charge of a state because they were supposed to. He was next in line. He's feckless. He's absolutely no way know how to run a state. He is resume building. That's all he is. He's not a leader. He's a joke. Puts on sunglasses, and thinks he's a tough guy. He says, Donald Trump said Tom Homan should arrest him. If he's obstructing justice, yeah, I think that's, I'm sorry. That's what's got to happen. Sometimes that's what's got to happen. Somebody has got to be made an example of. You step in front of, and you also, that's another thing. It's got to be used as the thing that tells America who these people are and what they stand for. Now, I want you to think about this on this scale. I'll get to the phones in a second. But I want you to think about this. At the same time that Democrats, politicians, talking heads alike are defending illegals with such fervor, telling the American people that they need to rise up, that they need to be in the streets.
My first message is to keep it peaceful. Obviously, this is a moment where we have to be on the streets all over the country to protest.
They have to be on the streets protesting the removal of illegals. I want you to set that tone. I want you to understand that that's what Chris Murphy is saying. That's what Cory Booker's saying. That's what Maxine Waters is saying. That's what the Democrat Party is saying. And then I want you to understand on the opposite side of that, they're spending $20 million to understand why they don't get men. At the same time, they are trying to understand why they're losing key parts of constituencies. They don't understand the people who are in the country legally, the people who they're here to serve. Young men, black, brown, Latino, whatever the case may be, they are overwhelmingly hemorrhaging that voter base. And who are they saying they need to get onto the streets for? Illegals. People who can't vote for them. People who pay no taxes, have no skin in the game. Who are taking their finances that they get under the table and sending back to a foreign country. This is who they sided with. And then try to have a seminar to understand actual voters. People they need to reach in order to win. Somebody explain it to me. Somebody make that make sense. And the crazy part is don't forget, just so we understand, while they are fighting for illegals, predominantly of Hispanic or Latin descent, at the same time, in 2024, they lost Hispanic men. Legal Hispanic men who can vote went with the guy trying to remove illegals from the country. And what does Chris Murphy say that we need to get into the streets for? For the people, again, one, who can't vote, who obviously have no allegiance to this country at all, are not taxpayers, at the same time talking about how we don't understand the electorate. Why are we losing black men? Why are we losing Latino men? And their answer to that is, let's support more illegal of them, the illegal ones. Let's support more of the illegal ones.